Welcome back to the Employment Hour. Paul KUTYLO here, along with Jeff Williams and Mohammed Faheem. Mohammed, what is your job title where you're working at this time?
Well, I'm the manager for the Business and Employer Services at WorkNet of Northern Cook County. Used to be the IETC before, the Illinois Employment and Training Center.
Okay.
And we were also called as the one-stop centers. So basically, we are there at the employment office, helping employers find productive employees and helping people find productive jobs also.
Very good. I know that you have your fingers on the employment in the state of Illinois. You get a lot of reports, a lot of things. What are hot areas where people are getting jobs these days?
It's not so much the hot areas, Paul. I mean, depending on who you talk to, those areas can be different. There is a lot of emphasis, believe it or not, coming back on manufacturing now. I mean, you may hear that we are turning into a service economy. Guess what? There's lots of companies which are opening up manufacturing facilities over here also.
So how did that happen? I thought everything was being outsourced to
what is
other
happening
countries.
is, see, on the outsourcing aspect of it also, that's a very interesting point you brought up. The market field is getting leveled in other countries also. So, for example, I mean, take computer programming. A lot of jobs are outsourced to India, right? Now, the level of pay that was there was much lower than the level of pay over here. But over a period of the last few years now, that level of pay is increasing in order to keep pace with the rest of the world. Otherwise, those people are leaving and coming over here. So, a lot of manufacturing is coming back also. And, transportation, for example, say if you make a car in Japan, and then you transport the thing over here, the economy that you're affecting by manufacturing overseas is getting washed out by the transportation and all those other factors. A lot of companies that you're saying that Japanese manufacturers are starting up plants over here. They are assembling things over here. So things are slowly changing.
Now, what other areas? You're talking manufacturing is prospering over here again. What else?
Manufacturing is starting to prosper. I mean, it's not the hottest thing going on right now. We are still in the service economy aspect of it. Manufacturing is coming back. Services are still very strong. Now, again, depending on the area that you are in, different services. I mean, all the way like from in our region, for example, there is a critical skill shortage initiative that the governor announced and that we are implementing. There was a shortage of skilled workers for the transportation and logistics industry. So we put together some courses, and we have got graduates coming out of those courses and finding jobs in the logistics and transportation industry. So it depends on where you are. Depends on where you are, basically. But the overall picture, there's a lot of pessimism. For example, amongst people that there are no jobs out there. You would be really surprised because I work with employers. They come to me all the time and say there are no good employees out there.
Look at that.
Find us the right person. Now that is something which people don't know. The unemployment rate, for example, for the Arlington Heights area is way below the state average. Way below. State average is like 4.7% as of yesterday or something. We are at 3 point something, 3.6 or 3.7. So it is tough for employers to find good employees also. So if you've lost your job, don't be disheartened. As long as you can brush up on your skills, that is something that we were discussing a couple of minutes back, Jeff. As long as you can brush up on your skills and bring the skills that are needed for today's jobs. Like if you were a guy who specialized in making horseshoes, for example, and then the horse carriage went out. So if you took the same, blacksmithing skills that you had and transformed them into, designing something else, packaging material, for example, you would still find a job. So even now, if you can transfer your skills and learn some of the new skills, you'll always have a job. So that is something very, very interesting, which I see a lot of people come in there, they're so despondent, I've lost my job. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to head. That's where your career planning comes in. sit down with the career counselor. Come into our office. I mean, come in and talk to us. I mean, we got free resources all the time to help people out. Not just if you're filing for unemployment, but you can just come in and talk to a counselor about what is happening, how do I plan my life, and what kind of resources that the state has, that the government has to retrain people. We got training funds that we administer through the Workforce Investment Act, for example, that we can actually set up a training grant for you. You don't have to pay it back. There are certain restrictions on qualifications on all that, how you qualify, but once you come in, you can find out more details about it.
I think in line with what you're saying, one of my idols is Paul McCartney. Here's a guy that, yeah, he's still singing songs, he's still recording songs, he's still making up songs, but he seems to find a new place for his songs, a new thing. You think he's dead, and all of a sudden he ends up doing the thing in New York for the 911 memorial and creating a song for that.
Bounces back.
He just keeps coming back, and yet he's doing the same kind of thing. He's just finding a new arena, a new place to be hired for it, and whatever.
Now, one of the things that I wanted to bring out in today's segment was, how do you find a job? I mean, I see a lot of people focusing on writing a great resume, practicing interviewing techniques, learning all about these things. It is like teaching somebody to fish. Okay, so they got a great fishing rod and reel, they got a great bait and everything. They need to know where the fish are. How do you find them? That is something which I'm very interested in talking to people, and we are actually planning a new seminar at our office, which would be a monthly seminar every second Wednesday of the month. And come and talk to us. How do you find a job in today's economy? How do you find a job with today's technology? Most people don't know that you can actually go to Google, for example. We are not talking of the commercial resume-based databases, without taking any names. The latest research that came out, this is the report by Booz Allen Hamilton from February of 2006. Where are people finding jobs? Or where are the employers finding employees? 21% of employees are getting hired through employer websites. 19% through referrals or word of mouth. So between these two, it's almost like 50% of the new hires last year were through these two resources. We are talking till the end of 2005. The report came out in February of 2006. Now that we are 8 months into 2006, those percentages are going up. The commercial resume databases, 4% to 5%. Newspapers, 4 to 5%. Job fairs, 3%. So people need to refocus their efforts in finding out where the jobs are. The best way that you can do that is go to Google. Now you're going to ask me, how do you find a job on Google? Okay.
How do you find a job on Google?
Yes, how do you find a job on Google?
Now Google needs to pay me for this,
Okay.
but go to Google, say, take any industry, okay? Say you are in the pharmaceutical industry, okay? Go to the search box in Google and put in pharmaceutical industry plus your zip code. Just that. Hit enter. And when you hit enter, it comes back and gives you a whole list of sites. The first site that it would give you would be pharmaceutical industry plus your zip code. Click on that. It'll literally open up and list every pharmaceutical industry in a whole radius around where you're living.
It's amazing. A tool like that, just so quickly you get the answers.
You can get hundreds. For example, the freight forwarding industry. If I go to the freight, if I go to Google and I put in freight forwarding plus 60005, the zip code for my office, it'll give me over 300 hits right then for freight forwarding companies around the zip code 60005.
Right.
And then you can click on it on every company. There's a map which is on the side, so you'll know exactly how far it is. You can get directions from your home, and then you focus on the companies that you want to work with. Now, once you know which company you want to work with and which company is within the commuting distance that you want to commute to, go to their website. Most companies now have got online recruiting going on-site recruiting from their websites. That's where the 21% figure comes from. Find out the jobs that they have listed. Now, once you found out the jobs that they have listed, they tell you how to apply for that job. And there's a whole segment that we can just put on that one topic as how do you apply for that job.
Very interesting. When I did this recently, I consulted the website for the major hospital that I ended up being employed by, but I actually applied for the wrong job. And I put in all my qualifications or whatever, and the guy sitting on the other side thought, gee, this guy would be better doing this particular job rather than the one that he's applying for. So I went in and he actually talked me into this other job, which fit perfectly and was wonderful. But I think what people ultimately are looking for is the marriage between your own passions, your own things that give you drive, that really give you excitement in life, mixed with and coupled with a job site where they really will allow you to expand on those passions, to put that into practice in a job that creates a product or creates something that people pay money for.
It is very important for any kind of job or any kind of life situation in general, Jeff. I mean, if you are not excited about that situation, you're not going to be successful. And it will show whether it's your life situation, whether it's your job situation. So find out about the company as much as possible before you decide to go and spend your life there or part of your life there. Is that something that you would really want to get involved in? Read about the company. Go to the library, read up the reports on the company, go through some business journals, find out as much as you can about the company. Is that something that you would be comfortable in? Or would you rather work in a smaller company where there's more interaction? Would you want to be a big fish in a small pond, or would you like to be a small fish in a big pond?
Okay, I hate to stop at this point, but we do. We're getting down to being out of time. This has been very exciting things. If you haven't learned anything in this segment, believe me, you haven't been listening at all. But I'm sure that you have, and thank you very much for watching. We're happy you're here. Thank you very much.